Here we go. Welcome back, kids. I'm Miss Debbie from Cox CSP. Let's continue on our story of Wooden Willie, and this is part 13. Okay? So here we go. As Uncle Clem and Percival walked through the woods towards Mrs. Dinky's house, Uncle Clem asked, "How long were you a pig, Percival?" "Almost 6 weeks," Percival replied, "and it wasn't any fun at all, I'll tell you, Uncle Clem. I had to sleep in the hollow log, and it isn't a bit nice like my bed at home. I bet a nickel that if all the boys knew how it felt to be pigs, they would be sure to keep their faces clean," said Uncle Clem. I should say they would," Percival said. "After this, I shall look in the mirror every day for a half an hour to be sure my face is clean. I shall never change into a pig again, I bet." When Uncle Clem and Percival walked into Mrs. Dinky's house, Uncle Clem said, "Where is the storekeeper?" "You'll never guess," said Uncle Clem. "Mrs. Dinky said, too, that do you remember that pretty lady that you met coming to my house with a basket of cookies?" "Yes, I remember," Uncle Clem said. "Well, I met her a few minutes ago, and when I was hunting for Percival Pig." "Well," said Mrs. Dinky, "that was Percival Pig's mamma." "Indeed, then I'm glad she's near," said Uncle Clem, "for I changed Percival Pig into a nice clean boy, and his mamma will be glad to see him. But what about the storekeeper?" "Well," explained Mrs. Dinky, "you'll never guess, so I'll have to tell you. That kind-hearted storekeeper was Percival's daddy, and when he saw the pretty lady, he said, 'Why, Mamma, how did you get here?' And Percival's mamma told him the strangest story." Let's turn the page here. "And when they told us to bring you right over to Percival's mamma's house as soon as you return," broke in Mr. Dinky. "Then let's hurry," said Uncle Clem. "The storekeeper was so kind, the lady was so pretty. I'm glad to know that they've always liked each other, and I'm anxious to know how they became separated." "Then we better run right over and hear their stories," said Mr. Dinky, catching hold of hands. Uncle Clem, beloved Belinda, Mr. and Mrs. Dinky, and Percival ran through the woods to the house where Percival's mama lives. And I'm going to show you this page right here. There's Percival when he's changing back into a boy, and I don't know what's going to happen here. We'll turn the page and see. Okay, here we go. They ran to the house where Percival's mama lives. Where did you find our boy?" the storekeeper asked, as he and Percival's mama came out to meet our friends. "This is the little boy who was changed into a pig," Uncle Clem said, "and to think Percival was a pig and that I cracked him with my stick." Percival's father said sadly, "I'm sorry, Percival, but you did not know, Daddy," Percival said as he put his arms around his daddy and his mama. "They came to hear the strange story, Mr. Storekeeper," Uncle Clem said. "We wondered what had happened and how you owned the magic store and how you happened to forget about your home and Percival and his nice mama." "Then I'll tell you," the storekeeper said. "One day I kissed Mama and Percival goodbye, and I walked through the woods. When I came to the bridge where it crosses the little brook, I saw a little man. He was a funny little man, and he was sitting on the bridge fishing. 'Have you caught any fish, mister?' I asked. 'No,' he said. 'I have no hook on my line. I just tie the bait to the string and let it down in the water, and when the fish eat it without getting caught on any hook.' 'That is a very nice way to fish,' I told him. Pretty soon the funny little man had used up all his bait, so he asked me, 'Do you want to walk to my store with me?' And I said, 'Okay, yes.' And we walked through the woods until we came to the store. When we walked into the store, the funny man said, 'How much will you give me for the store?' I looked in my pocket, and all I had were 2 pennies. I'll give you these for the store,' I told him, and to my surprise, he said, 'The store is yours.' And without another word, he took the 2 pennies and walked out, and I've never seen him since that day. But why didn't you return home after you bought this wonderful store? Uncle Clem said. I can't tell why, the storekeeper said. You see, it was a magic store, and I believe whoever owned it. Uncle Clem and beloved Belinda never knew what the storekeeper was going to say, for then a funny little man came running up into the house. Huh, he shouted to the storekeeper, so here you are. Come back and take your store back again. And he tried to pull the storekeeper out of the house. I shan't go, the storekeeper cried. You can have your old store back. I shall stay at home with my family. The funny little man didn't know what to reply. He scratched his head and looked at the others about the room. What kind of store is it? Asked Mrs. Dinky. Well, it's a magic store, said the funny little man. Whatever you sell or give away, another thing takes its place. We will give you, let's see, Mr. Dinky said, taking some of the things from his pocket. I've got a pencil stub, and I got a cork, and I got a glass bottle, and a knife without any blades. Then I'll sell you the store, said the funny little man, taking the things from Mr. Dinky and putting them in his own pocket. You can find a can of fresh ice cream cone behind the counter, he said as he tipped his hat and walked out. Now, Mr. Dinky and I own the store, said Mrs. Dinky, and she caught beloved Belinda's hands and danced about the room. I'm glad of it, beloved Belinda laughed when they stopped dancing. Now you can give presents to everybody that comes in your store. Oh, isn't that grand, Mr. Dinky said. We have always wished we were rich enough to give presents to people, and now our wish has come true. Now, we are going to leave it right there, and the next part is going to be the very last part. So stay tuned, come back, and let's see what happens. Bye-bye.